Welcome, Simon, to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about this Avkrvst. I think this is the correct pronunciation, Avkrvst. And this new album, the first album, the Approbation, and mostly related in general for the metal world. So we're starting with a common question. When do you decide to start a new band like Avkrvst?
Yeah, so that's I'll make a long story short, but Martin, the drummer of the band, and myself, our dads, our fathers are actually best friends, and they have been playing in a progressive rock band since we were kids.
Okay, nice.
Actually, so yeah, so every time they had lunch break during their band rehearsals, Martin and I went up on the loft and we played the instruments. So actually, when we were like 6-7 years old, we kind of agreed that when we get old and settle down like our dads, we are going to start a band.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So both are very fine. You know a lot of time with it. So talking about the one, so can we say that the first album was composed and written during the pandemic, or perhaps was before the pandemic or at the end of the pandemic?
The album was written during the pandemic, so the whole album is written, made and recorded at a cabin in the forest in Norway over 6 weekends, actually. So it was just Martin and myself isolated on a cabin during COVID pandemic.
Okay. Well, the follow-up question is one question that I related to a lot of productions around the world are happening now. You can see in the Spotify digital platforms in general. So there are a lot of productions that release singles, EPs, videos, etc. So for you, which is the distinct, or which are the main strengths that this album has compared to a lot of productions?
What do you mean then?
The strength, yes.
The strength of this album, or
yes, the strength of the album.
I think it's mainly probably the music itself, but I kind of rely on I'm a fan of the aesthetics as well, and try to bring the music videos and the artwork and everything, and tie that together with the music itself, and have a whole package. So the whole thing will be like a unity, kind of.
Okay. Other aspects. Well, you told me that you and the drummer, I will know because your dad's playing together in a progressive metal, a progressive band there. So what is the name of the progressive band?
It's called the Tamatoys.
Tamatoys. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's a Norwegian prog band. Yeah.
Okay. So, and talking about the Norwegian aspect, I always know that I spoke with from the boys for the Spiral Architect, Manitou, Terra Odium, that's from Norway. I spoke also with Thor from Ark for Conception, the metal prog too, there. And always this artist told me, first, I don't know all the time that the bands from progressive metal in Norway, I always lean down to the darkness, to a lot of this kind of stuff, a lot of darkness. I don't know why. It's and I asked them why the progressive metal bands there are always more dark than the UK, than US, etc. And they told me that, they told me that it's normally because it's a part of the culture of the people, the darkness, the environment, etc. And so I hear completely this first album, The Approbation, and I denote the same. The band is influenced by the Fates Warning sound, but at the same time, you put your environment, the darkness, the cold, So, what for you? What is the main reason the rock metal bands from Norway are very dark, and perhaps the black metal?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's actually the main reason, really. We black metal is purely from Norway, and we grew up with the black metal and all the church burnings and stuff. So and of course half of the year in at least the upper part of Norway, it's pretty dark during the whole year. It's not that much sun, so there's plenty of like forests and mountains. So I mean, the scape of the nature in Norway is kind of majestic and dark to some degree. So I think both the landscape and the black metal is something that probably have influenced Norwegian progressive bands.
Well, one thing that I saw is that I don't the word Avkrvst came from another language, but at the same time you use for the lyrics speak in English. Obviously, Osterdalen. That's the only song that is written in Norway, in Norwegian. So
that's Norwegian.
why did you decide to play the band with these kind of aspects?
I mean, just to clarify, the opening intro on the album is called Østerdalen, and it's actually the name of the place where the album is made and recorded.
Okay. Okay.
So
nice.
So we just wanted to kind of capture the surroundings of the cabin and I mean the town and everything that is around where we made all the songs. So that's why we call the opening song for that, to set the mood, kind of.
Okay. Other aspects that is very important, to me, is that this first album is released by Inside Out Music. I think the bigger label talking about the progressive metal and rock era now. So how do you contact them? They contact you, or perhaps you, because for your father they have connections with Inside Out. Who knows? How was the enter to this label, and how do you deal with this aspect? Because you are one of the big leagues now.
Yeah, I mean, actually, we when we first started making this album, we didn't think about releasing the music at all, actually.
Okay.
But after we've recorded more and more, it started sounding pretty good, and we thought about releasing the music. So we actually contacted the 3 Norwegian progressive labels, and they all liked it, and we almost actually signed a contract, a deal with one of the Norwegian labels.
Okay.
But one night I was like, Martin and I grew up with Inside Out. We listened to everything on Inside Out, and our dads have bought everything that ever came out on Inside Out. So I thought to myself that I just had to send an email just to be sure. And I have plenty of friends who have sent their music to Inside Out, but they have gotten an answer saying thank you, but no thank you. Yes. But I was like, I fuck it. I'm going to regret it if I don't send them an email. So I did. I sent them an email with 2 songs, and the same day as we were supposed to sign with the Norwegian label, we actually got an answer from Inside Out on mail, saying that they were interested and they really liked what they heard. So then the ball started rolling, and we talked more, and then we signed the deal, and yeah, now we're here.
Okay. Well, one detail that always comes with the album information as the influence of the band, no? And according to the information of that I got, is that you have influence from Opeth, Mew, Meshuggah, Dream Theater, Mastodon, and the Mars Volta. But when I
Yeah.
hear completely disapprobation, I think the person who did this aspect, I forgot Fate's Warning, because the riffs from this from the music from Jim Matthews from Fate's Warning is very is kind of your influence of these aspects. So for you, apart from the main general influence that the label told us, which influence did you bring in the Approbation album?
Actually, if we didn't try to make anything specific, and we didn't really we didn't try to make prog music at all. The album could as well just be a black metal album or a pop album, but because we didn't know what kind of music we were supposed to make, we just drank beer and sat at the cabin and made music. But we're influenced by just things we grew up with, which is like stuff like that. I mean, yes, Rush, Neil Morris, King Crimson, Opeth, and Porcupine Tree, old Dream Theater. I mean, you probably can't hear that many Dream Theater references, but it's a band that we grew up with, and we still have taken some influences from that. But yeah, I mean, the bands Inside Out also mention our bands that we are influenced by and things that we grew up with.
Okay. So in your words, and talking about one aspect that is especially for this kind of music. Well, perhaps, and you hear about the concept of synesthesia. Perhaps do you know about this word?
No.
Okay.
About
the synesthesia is when a person with when a person listens to music, they see colors, they see text, they smell taste, they see kind of flavors. So if we try to relate this aspect with a person, what kind of odors, flavors, and colors that the listeners will find in this Approbation album?
Oh wow, tough question. I mean, we try to bring the surroundings of around the cabin into the music. So the surroundings were pretty dark. It was foggy and it rained a lot. It was also some snow, but the ground was mostly like orange and brown and kind of cold. It was pretty cold outside and it was dark, but at the same time it's some warm colors as well. So maybe like orange, brown, like the feeling of earth. Kind of.
Okay. No, okay. No, it's a difficult question. I know. It's very difficult. It's okay. Well, talking about now the promotion of this new album, what are the future plans that the band has to promote this new album? Perhaps you will embark on a first tour in Europe. Perhaps you have an intentions to bring to came to Latin America or US or Japan. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we just signed with a European booking agency, so we will probably do some touring. We did our first concert last week with Pendragon and the Flower Kings, actually. So at the festival here in Norway, which was great. So we are going to play lots of live stuff, but we don't have any official plans yet.
Okay. Okay, well, talking about all those aspects, as I said, talking about in general from the metal, well, usually now a progressive metal music now, or progressive rock music, is more related to the calisthenic people, where there are a lot of this kind of stuff into the guitars, into a lot of faster players, a lot of virtuosisms, musicians. But now when I hear completely Disapprobation, you are more leaned down to the old stuff. It's more classic, more slow in some parts, but you have a different textures into the music. That's very important for the progressive metal now compared to a lot of people that thinks that the progressive is more like also like a machine and not like the feelings. So why did you decide to lean out for this aspect of in the moment when you compose the music? Why did you choose the usual way that the new bands are doing, the technical progressive with a lot of virtuosism and a lot of technical stuff?
That's actually just because, as I said earlier, we just went to this cabin six weekends and to drink beer and make music. So all the music we made and the whole album is just, it came so natural to us. We didn't try to. I mean, plenty of bands, new bands these days are trying too hard, I think, on something special. They are trying to play fast, or they're trying to be very prog or something. But we didn't try on anything. We just hang out. I mean, this album is kind of a sum of Martin, the drummer, and myself, just being together in a room and relaxing, really, playing guitar and keys and just. So I think that's probably why it's kind of sticks out a little from the newer bands, and which I also think is a great thing, because I know a lot of prog rockers and metal fans from, which is more on the 70s, 80s, earlier stuff. I know those kind of people don't really like newer stuff, but I think that group of people also could like our music, but the younger, newer fans could also like our music. So I think we're kind of dipping our toes in both camps, kind of.
Okay. Well, now, one thing that captured my attention, because you are from the, I think you have 23, 24, perhaps 30 years old in your career as a musician, perhaps less. So, but well, as you can know, now the people from your generation prefer to hear the music with digital platforms and select just 1, 2, 3 songs. We're returning on time, and when the music spread just by singles and the 40s and 50s at that time. Now we're returning to that era to now. So why do you decide to write an album when your generation preferred to hear the music by singles?
That's mainly because we didn't want to make music for anyone else than ourselves, really. So this whole album is just, we wanted to make an album from start to finish. And me personally, even though I'm kind of young still, I prefer to listen to a whole album. So when I check out stuff in, for example, Spotify, I'll go in and I'll save the whole album as a playlist, and I'll listen through the whole album instead of like doing one song here and one song there. Okay. But I think releasing singles is a great way to get kind of people's attention, just to have people checking out and hearing a few minutes of the music to see if it's something interesting for them. Okay.
Well, Simon, the sad times arrive at this interview. I hope you enjoyed this interview like me. You're a terrific guy. Well, I love your last album. We will publish the review in a few hours, perhaps, in our web. So perhaps do you want to add something to your new Latin American fans and Metalero followers?
I hope they like the album as much as we do, and that we can come play for you. That would be that's one of our biggest goals. It's so cool to come over.